G'day. Simple video on PowerPoint on how to insert transitions into your slides so that you can have pictures entering and exiting as you will. Okay, so we have two GIFs that I really like, and as you can see, if I go from current slide, you'll see I got this one and this one. Now, let's say for whatever reason I don't want them at the same time. I want this one to start off and I want this one to show up later, and then when this one fully shows up, I have this one exit, and then I want it to loop repeatedly until I say escape, we're done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the animation pane. Now usually you don't start off with that, so you want to go to the animation ribbon and click animation pane. And then from there, what you want to do is you want to, go to whichever picture it is that you want to show up after, and you want to click on. Now, usually I find a fade the best entrance because, again, when you're adding any sort of transition, you don't want to distract from your presentation, okay? You want it to be as subtle as possible so that if somebody's not paying attention or somebody's zoned out, it might perk their interest where their subconscious might all of a sudden see something different and say, hey, that's not a picture I'm looking at on the PowerPoint, that's an animation. And so it might attract their attention. But you want it to be subtle. So I use a fade, and you'll see it shows up here. Now, you'll notice that I have to click it. I strongly recommend you change that. It should never be on click. Clicking should only be between slides, else you run into a whole host of problems. So, I'm going to say this is going to happen after whatever the previous thing is, and I'm going to delay it for 5 seconds. And I say 5 seconds because you want your audience to look at whatever it is for 5 seconds. Usually it takes 3 or 4 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds for the brain to process what am I looking at. So whatever it is that they were looking at before the change, you probably want them to process that and then start the change. Usually I suggest that duration is about 5 seconds as well. So I've put that in. We can now see what that does, where these guys are all cheering, awesome, and then you're going to see without me clicking, this picture is going to take 5 seconds to zoom in. Okay? And it'll end. So what happens if I want this picture to disappear, though, after this picture has fully entered the screen? So what I can then do is I can go to my animations pane, and I can click on this, and I click on the down arrow, and it'll give me, I could also add animation, but I like doing it this way. There's different ways of doing things in PowerPoint. And again, same thing. I want to use fade because it does not distract the viewer. So I'm going to click on fade, and again, what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's after the previous, after 5 seconds, and that it takes about 5 seconds. And again, you can tweak this around as you wish, but I find this works best. And so again, same thing. Let's see how it looks. I'm not going to be touching my mouse and just watching to see what happens. And so I got that first slide. The first animation going, the second animation comes in, and the third animation will start to fade out automatically. Okay. And that's it. Okay. And again, just to explain what fully happened and why, again, so this animation is the first 5 seconds. This animation comes in the next 5 seconds. And then when this animation is fully in, this animation starts exiting after 5 seconds. And again, that happens because of what you did. Okay, if I chose the delay to be 10 seconds, then it would start after 10 seconds. If I chose the duration to be 10 seconds, then it would take 10 seconds to happen. The last thing I strongly advise you to do, because again, with any slideshow, you don't want to have to worry about clicking it unless you're going to the next slide. I would strongly advise you go to slideshow, you go to setup slideshow, and you go to loop continuously until escape. So people are not looking at a blank screen while you're presenting. And so I'm going to press that, And then if I press F5, again, I have my first awesome slide, which I'm just going to highlight. That goes for 5. And then as you can see, this one has started entering after 5. And now that it's reset, this one will start looping out after 5. Once that's done, the entire slideshow will reset, and we'll start with this one again. And that's everything. I hope that helped. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll subscribe, and hopefully you'll check out my next video. Have a great day. Later.